Hey everybody, welcome back to video 27. Today we get to take a look at muscles of the upper limb. So in our last video we took a look at muscles of the head and neck, we took a look at muscles of the torso. Now we're going to get started on the limb muscles. One thing to know about these limb muscles is that we are not going to cover nearly all of them. I might mention some of the compartments and some of the muscles inside those compartments, but I'm definitely not going to be testing you on all of the muscles here, because if you think all of the muscles that you have running through your forearm, we're going to talk about the compartments that we have there, but they're just way too many and they have very long names, so that I am not going to be asking you about those muscles outside of what their name might relate to when it comes to the three categories used for naming muscles. So taking a look, here are some of the muscles of the upper arm. The one that most people are familiar with, the Biceps Brachii. Bicep meaning two heads. You can see it has the short head here and the long head there. The long head being on the lateral side, that makes it easier to remember. But both of them are part of the Biceps Brachii. Brachii referring to the brachial region where it is located. Underneath the Biceps Brachii and slightly medial is the Brachioradialis muscle, and we'll take a look at its AOI here in the next few slides. And on the posterior side, we have the Triceps Brachii. It does have three heads. That's what the triceps is referring to. You have the lateral head, the long head, and there is also a medial head that is not being shown right here. Muscles of the forearm, we'll start with the superficial ones. You can see there's all sorts of ones, from the flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris, all sorts of different ones. Like I said, I'm not going to ask you about each of these, but what I may ask is, based on what you know about the categories used to name muscles, what can you tell me about the, let's go, abductor, pollicis, longus. So you know abductor is named based on the function of the muscle. It's going to abduct. Pollicis is going to refer to the location of the muscle, referring to the pollex, your thumb. And longus, kind of in a roundabout way, refers to the shape of the muscle, meaning that it is a very long muscle, especially compared to the brevis, meaning short. So the abductor, pollicis longus, is going to be a long muscle that abducts the thumb. And that's going to be as in-depth as I will get into many of these forearm muscles. One important one that we see here is this brachioradialis, which is going to be a very large muscle. You can see here on the palmar view here and the dorsal view here, this one looking from the front and looking from the back. If you strip away those muscles and you get to some of the deep forearm muscles, you reveal a few more. The supinator we've already talked about as an example of a muscle being named for its function. It is going to be used to supinate the arm or supinate the forearm. And you can see some of these others, the pronator quadratus, flexor retinaculum, all sorts of other muscles also named primarily based on the three categories of muscles. So taking a look at the AOI for these muscles here. The Biceps Brachii, we're familiar with it. It's going to be used to flex the elbow. It's going to originate in the coracoid process, which is going to be a crow beak shape that you have in your scapula, actually coming all the way over to your shoulder, in the shoulder joint. It runs anteriorly farther than you might expect. And it's going to insert on the radial tuberosity. And what that means based on that insertion is when you're doing a bicep curl, some people might have a tendency to actually pronate the arm. So as they're doing that bicep curl, their thumb starts to come up. And that's actually a healthy way to do a bicep curl, because that bicep is inserting on the radius bone. It's pulling on that radius and not pulling on the ulna, which is going to cause a slight bit of pronation as you do that bicep curl. The brachioradialis is going to be used to help stabilize the elbow during flexion. It's one of the stabilizing muscles for the Biceps Brachii. It's going to originate on the humerus and insert on the radius and help keep that elbow stable, especially during very strong contractions of the Biceps Brachii. Your Triceps Brachii is going to be used to extend the elbow. It is an antagonist of the Biceps Brachii. It's going to originate on your scapula and humerus. So yes, it does wrap around all the way to your scapula on the backside here. And it's going to insert on the ulna, which is why when you go back, return from doing a bicep curl, that thumb will tend to supinate because that triceps brachii is pulling on the ulna and not on the radius. When you look at the four compartments of the forearm, you can see there a group of four muscles in the superficial anterior compartment. They're going to have a number of different actions depending on which of the four that you're looking at, be it flexion, adduction of the wrist, hand, and fingers. So your superficial compartment is going to be mainly flexion and adduction of the wrist, pulling that in. You can see the hand and fingers as well. They're going to originate in all sorts of different spots from the humerus, the ulna, and the radius, and insert on either the carpals, the metacarpals, maybe even the fascia of the palm, the connective tissue underneath your skin, or on your phalangeal bones. The deep anterior compartment, again still anterior, so on the front side here, is going to be mainly two muscles. They're going to be used to flex the thumb and the wrist and a little bit of the fingers. Originates on either the radius, the ulna, or the interosseous membrane. The interosseous membrane is connective tissue that runs in between your radius and ulna, kind of almost like a ligament. And they're going to insert on your distal phalanges depending on, so distal phalanges is going to be the endmost finger, obviously distal. They're going to be insert there to be able to do their pulling. The superficial posterior compartment, you're going to have 5 muscles sitting on the back side here, the posterior side. Going to be used for a number of things: extension, abduction, and adduction of wrist and fingers. All of them actually are going to originate somewhere on the humerus and insert either on the metacarpals or on the phalanges. And then your deep posterior compartment is going to be 4 muscles that extend and abduct the thumb and wrist. They're going to originate in either the radius, the ulna, or once again that interosseous membrane between the two. And they're going to insert on either the phalanges of the thumb, the tendon of the index finger, or they might insert on the trapezium, which you may remember is one of your carpal bones. So these are the major muscles of the upper limb. I know it says muscles of the limbs here, but it's the major muscles of the upper limb. So if you have any questions about this, please let me know.